90 seconds of shutdown talk, and our time starts now. Still shut down. I don't have 90 seconds. I don't even know what to say at this point. They're not there today. It's Yom Kippur. They're celebrating it. This is a normal day. They're closed. Whoever is polling worse by Monday will blink first. So depending on where you're looking, so both the television folks will show you, if you're on CNN, it'll be Trump's worst. If you're on Fox, it's definitely, it's definitely the Democrats. But they'll have their own internal polling. And if the internal polling says, look, you're starting to lose people, especially the independents, they're going in a certain direction. So the minute that happens, and it starts to get that way, because they care so much about, Ken, they care about us, Ken. I want you to know that.
I'm glad somebody does.
Yeah, they care about you and I and all of us. It's not just because the polling numbers are bad that they would even for a moment think about coming back to work. They care about us. This is a lie. But the minute that happens, that's it. Isn't that sad that the only way realistically they'll come back is polling numbers? It's who wins. It's who wins in something that it's not about you winning. You're supposed to be for the American people. It's not about you winning. This isn't even some sort of new spending bill where they cut a bunch of stuff. Yeah, stuff's getting kind of cut out. You're fighting over stuff for the future. But this isn't, I'm amazed. I really am. And by the way, Democrats, if you're so frustrated with this and what's going to potentially happen and people losing their health care, then you know what? You give it all to the Republicans. And if they fail and people are going, hey, I got nothing over here. I'm not getting any subsidies, and now I'm paying $1,400 a month for health care. Well, then guess what happens? They'll go after them at the ballot box. And then you could fix it. If it doesn't work out that way, well, you weren't going to win anyways. Ken, what was the thing you were saying? People are living paycheck to paycheck. What was that? I was looking for that one.
Goldman Sachs. Let's see here. A study from Goldman Sachs claims to reveal 42% of younger working Americans, including Gen Z, millennials, and Gen X, say they have no money left after covering basic living expenses. Among those living paycheck to paycheck, nearly 3/4 say they're struggling to set aside anything for retirement. In 1997, that was 31% of workers in that position. But today, this study says that number has grown, and Goldman Sachs is warning it could climb to more than half of all Americans by the year 2033.
That is the big issue right there. Affordability. Groceries have not come down the way that people thought and were hoping.
2 weeks ago, my wife and I spent $100 on 2 days. 2 days worth of groceries.
$100?
Yes.
What'd you get?
Just
caviar.
It just got like some snacky foods. Just stuff that you throw in a crock pot or you put in an air fryer.
Man, I love it. We got an air fryer last year.
Oh, I love it.
Earlier this year. Are those the greatest things ever?
Air fryers and crock pots, baby.
That is all you need in life.
But yeah, it was nearly $100.
So for 2 days, and you're not feeding 20 people.
No, it was my family of 4.
And the wiener dog.
Yeah, little Fritz.
But Fritz probably doesn't eat that much.
No, I don't. We don't give him people food.
That's good. See? Yeah. What do you give him?
I don't know what the name of this stuff is that we give him.
Old Roy?
No, we stepped up from Old Roy and come and get it.
Poor Old Roy.
That's what the first batch of wiener dogs got in the Weaver household was Old Roy and come and get it.
Old
and
Roy.
They lived till they were 16.
Because Old Roy works, kids. Telling you guys, Old Roy's always there for you. When you need Old Roy, he's there.
Little Bentley Boo and Lady Clotilde, they loved it.
The cost of life is, do you feel safe with your job? That's a big deal for a lot of people. And by the way, new tariffs are going in. That is going to be an issue. The farmers are still upset. They don't want a bailout or a handout, they keep saying. What they want is the opportunity to, they look at these tariffs. And China, by the way, the soybean farmers and all can you believe what we just did? We gave money to Argentina, $20 billion to bail him out and Scott Besson's friend and a bunch of other people that went in to Argentina and invested money. We gave them $20 billion to hold them steady. And the next day, they took off their tariffs with China and sold them soybeans while our farmers struggle. This is the kind of things that frustrates people. And it's, when you hear Ken say, it's $100 for a couple days of snacks and food, not like you're going out. You're not eating at you didn't go out last night to Ruth Chris. Beef is going up. These are the things that you've got to have right. All the other stuff that we talk about, the cartel battles that they're going to happen now and the wars that potentially could happen to Israel and could he get, Ukraine and Russia. Those things, they're not here first. And that's the thing. It's a cost. And if you've got more and more people living paycheck to paycheck, and every year, how many times do we hear, and we're hearing it more and more, that people can't afford, like if their tires, they need new tires. Because tires are so damn expensive. I mean, how many people can afford that $1,000 emergency? That's, and a lot of people, well, I can. I know a lot of people can, but there's a lot of people that can't. And guess what? Their vote counts too. And that's the way you have to look at it. Their vote counts too.
I mean, we can afford it, but I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That it costs that much.
Yeah. That
used to be about $50 tops for the stuff that we bought.
I know. I tell my wife, Laura, look, I love the kids, but we don't have to feed them all the time. I mean, Lily she already eats like a supermodel, so we're fine with that. Charlie, you know what? She's fine with, Reese's peanut butter cups once a day. She'd be good with that. Although we had some today. Can we just be honest? What did you say, Ken?
It's the best candy bar ever made.
When we go to heaven, what happens?
There will be Reese's peanut butter cup flowers that you'll just be able to pluck off the side of the golden roads.
Yeah. That's it. That's the beauty of that. You just walk by and you're like, hold on a second. I'd like one of these. Those are just the greatest. And then it would rain donuts. Not bagels, Chad. Oh, stop with that. Donuts would be great. Do you remember I didn't watch many of The Simpsons, but I remember one time Homer went into the alternative life and everything was perfect. And then they said something, he said, I can't wait to have a donut. And they go, what's a donut? And then and he went back to the regular life. And then it started to rain and it rained donuts. So, yeah, that would be good. Good donuts, too. None of those weird donuts. One of those fancy donuts. And the other thing is healthcare, guys. The healthcare cost. People always say you're harsh on Trump or you're harsh on this. You know what I am? I care about us. I care about the American people. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. If life sucks, and life doesn't suck for some people, it's great. By the way, there's a lot of people, it doesn't matter what the economy's like, who's running it, they're always going to be fine. But I want Trump to succeed. And sometimes you got to look up and say, all right, we're going to get rid of some of this stuff. 22 million Americans are going to see in excess of 115 to 130% jump in their healthcare cost. That's a kick in the grundle. I said yesterday, you better put a cup on. And the cost of groceries, we're still waiting. That was immigration. He's done great at. We could sit here and the battle of ICE and all that kind of stuff. That's a lot of craziness, and the Democrats, because they need something to fight against. But it's still going to be about the cost of living. And the fact that you're going to see healthcare shoot up. And I'm not talking about I'm not talking about the work requirements. I'm talking about people who are on healthcare but get some sort of Obamacare subsidies. And everyone's like, you shouldn't get those. Yeah, well, government shouldn't have been involved in healthcare, and they sure shouldn't have allowed the insurance industry to craft it, which is what they did. And Obamacare, like it or not, it's here. It's here. And when the Republicans had an opportunity to get rid of it, they never really had an alternative plan. And now they didn't get rid of it. So it's here. I mean, you would like to think it would be gone and we can actually open it up to a marketplace where we could go across state lines. I don't know why I can't have the opportunity to shop my plan somewhere. But alas, this is where we're at. And if you go from $400 a month to all of a sudden $800, $1,000, $1,500 a month for your insurance, that's going to take a bite out of you. And that's what people are looking at. And that's a lot of people. And you couple that in like with the grocery side of things, which is I try not to go and look at grocery prices. That's why, you know what I tell my wife now? We just order everything online. Because if we go there, I have, you go to the grocery store, I'm just going to stick to what I got right here written down. And then you get home, you're like, oh man, I forgot half the stuff on my list. And that's a nightmare. Because then you're like, oh. So I say, you know what? Let's order. That way we don't have to go anywhere. And we will stick to what's on the list.
I mean, I'll put it to you this way. I ran across a 12-pack of ginger ale.
Okay.
It was nearly $9.
Oh, my God. For ginger ale?
Yes. I used to be able to get that for almost $5.
That's...
Again, I can afford it, but I don't want to pay that much.
No.
It's ridiculous.
I went and got a Sprite today, just a Sprite, like a Diet Sprite from the little store over here. It was like $3.49. I'm like, is there
crazy?
Is there heroin in my Sprite? What is it? What's it got, a street value? I don't remember that. And again, it's not about the good old days when everything cost a nickel. It's just a few years ago, things weren't so expensive. And yes, we printed a ton of money and we handed it out to a bunch of people and told them not to stay home. And we shouldn't have done that. The first time, I was cool with it with Trump. I said the second time, he shouldn't do it and he should have stayed strong. And there's no way Biden should have ever done it. And then we accelerated inflation. And then we've got moves here that haven't really mitigated what's happening. And like you said, you're spending, how much was it? 12? $10, $12?
Almost $9.
$9 for ginger ale.
Just a 12-pack.
Who makes ginger ale? Schweppes?
A bunch of people.
Great value?
Unfortunately, I don't think they do. I need to look into that.
You should, because I bet their ginger ale is good. It's probably only $8.23.
It's probably $8.59.
Yeah, whatever weird things. They always have those weird numbers, right? You'd pay normally $2.99. Here, you'll pay $2.47. Right down to the penny. Right down to the penny. Coming up, we'll talk a little about what happened in Manchester. We've also got that incident that took place at the Davis School Board with the lady stripping. But the gender battles go on. Netflix, Elon tweeting stuff out. We'll talk about that as well. If you miss any of the show, we always say shame on you. Reach out to us across all of our social media. You can reach out to me at Chad Benson Show. This is the Chad Benson Show. Super Talk 99.7. Let's see here. People are chiming in. First of all, people want to know, are you going to go to the Wiener Dog races?
Where are they at?
Oktoberfest? I don't know. Somebody said, ask Ken if he's going to the Wiener Dog races.
I might do that.
Heck yeah.
Whole bunch of little wieners.
Just running around. That is funny. Grocery prices are too high. There's no doubt people are saying that. This is $22 for 12 Red Bull.
Wow.
Cat litter went from $12.45 to $21.
Yeah.
The cat litter's insane. I'm like, look, dude, we're going to go out and start getting you some dirt from the backyard. Yeah, that is just insane. Insane, the cost of, $18 for a Subway sandwich meal from Subway?
I believe it.
Somebody said a 6-inch sandwich with chips and a drink at Subway is almost like $18. I just started packing my own lunch. Yeah.
Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah, Germantown it's going to be, the Wiener Dogs.
Ah, that's a perfect place for it.
That's right.
Bunch of little dachshunds.
Running around.
Bunch of little furry weenies.
That is crazy. That is, love the wiener. I like the pig races. I like the pig races too. You ever seen the pig races at the fair? And then they give out bacon to the winner? Which is hilarious. My mom used to give bacon to hers, which was so funny. He'd eat anything. She goes, watch this. I'm like, this is gross. Let's see here. Yeah, inflation is pretty much a nightmare, and everybody understands that. And you got to give some of this stuff time to work. But Trump doesn't have super time to work. That's just it.
No, we're very impatient.
Well, yeah. Well, we live in an instantaneous society, TikTok and whatnot. You know, I mean, people are mad. They get on the weight loss drug, and they're like, why don't I look like an Adonis? I took it 2 weeks ago. No, we're an impatient group. But when you're trying to keep your head above water, that's a big deal. And if, you know, somebody just said they got their oil change, tire rotation, it was almost $300.
What?
Yeah. You know, Rachel downstairs, she went and got like the fluids, the oil change stuff. She said it was like $359, $369. She had like a coupon.
Was this like brake fluid too? Or
I don't know. Maybe it was windshield. I asked her, was it windshield wiper fluid? What was it? You know, she goes, I think they took advantage of me. I said, no. I said, I went and got mine, rotation and stuff, and it was super expensive. I was surprised. I'm like, I could have done it myself.
I'm paying about $120 right now for oil change and tire rotation.
Mm. So, ribeye steak, $25 a pound at Kroger.
Yeah.
One steak, $32.
I've seen that.
Man, that is...
I mean, you know, and again, I can afford it, but man, there's a lot of folks out, they cannot.
No, they can't. They cannot afford it. And, you know, somebody just said, look, steak is too expensive now. I'm getting ground turkey.
Yeah.
And it is, like you said, affording it, just because you can afford it doesn't mean you should have to, I mean, you're not seeing any breaks. And everybody's like, well, or somebody just said, well, pay is going up too. Pay may be going up, but if you can't keep up with the inflation, you're still losing out. That's it. That was one of the big things with Biden. You could talk about real pay is going up. Yeah, but it's going up 3 or 4%, but inflation's up 10%, so you're losing 6%. You're losing it. Plus, the dollar is weakening. Trump's going to keep the dollar kind of down a little bit because foreign investment. People are more apt to buy here or invest here if they think their money's going to go a little bit further. And several people, dude, healthcare. I am so glad.
That's the one, man.
This guy goes, I pay $2,000 a month for healthcare. I mean, not healthcare, and somebody said childcare.
I'm telling you, my wife and I, we sacrificed a lot whenever our kids were little because we just did not want to pay for childcare.
Yeah.
And so Jennifer was a stay-at-home mom.
We're lucky. My wife can stay at home. She doesn't, we're blessed. She gets mad because I work a lot, but I'm like, oh, you can go get a job. Kids can watch themselves. But, they're homeschooled and they do that stuff. But how do you afford that? If you got a couple kids, I mean, because you have to also start asking yourself, is it worth it? If both of you are making, $25, $30 an hour and your kids you got a couple kids, the next thing you know, you look up and you're like, okay, we're essentially one of us could work and one of us could stay home. We're going to end up the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much how it would have gone is, my wife's check probably would have just gone to childcare. So might as well just stay at home.
Yeah, exactly.
And be there for your kids when they're home from school and that sort of thing. That's huge.
That is such a big thing. So my kids love the fact that, my mom's there and they do a lot of fun stuff. They go to museums. They do all kinds of stuff. It's kind of a little bit of a European thing. They'll do work late at night sometimes to stay up, and then they'll do a bunch of work in the morning and in between during the day. They get to do stuff, and we travel a lot, so they're kind of for the job and stuff. So they've been pretty blessed, and I've been so happy for that. But I look around, I think, man, the cost of life, could you imagine having 2 or 3 kids where you've got to pay that much money for them to go to daycare? And then insurance? And that insurance is going to go up.
Dude, I got a 25-year-old daughter and a 25-year-old future son-in-law, and they're doing okay, but they cannot afford a house.
No.
They cannot. It's unattainable.
Yeah.
They can't do it.
That is unattainable. So there is and maybe we'll talk about it when we come back. I did a big deep dive into, like, going back 40 years, because everybody talked about, 40 years ago you could afford it on this, this, and this compared to today. And the numbers are pretty stark. The numbers are pretty stark, especially when it comes to the thing that matters to getting that house, which is that down payment, how long it takes you to get that, which is also, a weird thing because as you're saving for that, that target's also moving. So that's a scary thing. We'll talk about that and what went on at the Davis School Board and Netflix and trans issues, all kinds of stuff. Straight ahead, Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997. Ken, as we're talking about money, so many people were saying, oh, you should do their oil yourself. This guy goes, I did my oil myself. It still cost me $70 with the oil filter and the oil. Another guy goes, it was $19.99. That's what they got it advertised for. I left there. It was $180.
I tell you, I should invest in a really good jack and do it myself because from what I understand, I think there, if I'm not mistaken, the auto parts stores will take your, the oil that you're tossing out. That's been my big thing. I don't want to pay to dispose of my oil, and I don't want to pour it down the drain in the street.
No, you want to do that because then it ends up inside the lakes and places they're not supposed to.
But from what I understand, and maybe somebody on the chat line can let me know, but I think at least one of the auto parts stores around this place will take your discarded oil. That would be cheaper.
Well, yeah, you talk about that. Like when you go places, I remember I was in California and my battery went out. They come and I get a new battery. And then they charge me like $35 to dispose of my battery. I'm like, well, wait a minute here. What if I don't want to give it to you? Well, we're still charging you for it. Yeah. I'm like, good God, this is insane.
Now, I do not let the dealerships or anybody else change out my filters, like the cabin and the engine filter.
Yeah.
That is so easy to do.
Yeah, but normally you don't do that. You kind of do everything at once.
Right.
So if you're taking it somewhere and then, if we're going to do it all, might as well do it all at once. Those things may be easy, but it's not like you just stop by a auto parts store and grab those. Not everybody does. They figure, well, if I'm going to do it all at once, it's going to be the oil, it's going to be this, that, and the other.
Now, I one time I saw it was like $50 or $60 to change my engine filter, and I went, what? No. I'll pay the cost of it, which is about, $20, and I'll put it in myself.
Smart.
I got you both beat if you want a story.
All right, let's hear it, Brother RJ.
So I was in rural Missouri. My car dies at a laundromat. I need a jump. There's an auto parts store across the street. I walk over to them and I say, hey, can you guys just send someone over to jump my car? And they go, sure, that's going to cost you $65.
To jump your car?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
I had to call a friend who drove 30 minutes out of town to come find me.
Did you have cables?
I had cables at the time, but they were busted.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Got to have them jumper cables, man, just in case.
That is nuts. That is like 70, 50, $10, $5. Dude, I'll buy. You know what? Because if you come over and you jump it, I'll buy you dinner. Here's $10. Well, that's not dinner anymore. Here's a soda.
I was getting ready to say, dude, that's a 12-pack of ginger ale.
Somebody goes, I went to the McDonald's dollar menu. It was like $15. I go, it is. It's $1 15 times you get them for your McRib or whatever they've got going on over there.
Hey, one thing I'll give McDonald's, man, is they are coming down.
They're trying.
I mean, at least they're trying.
Yeah, they're trying because they're losing because people are making choices that they didn't make 2, 3, 4 years ago.
I mean, I think McDonald's is saying, we might as well get something.
Yeah, something's better than nothing. We got all these fries made.
Which, boy, they do have good fries.
They do, made with angel tears.
Angel
That's what I used to say. You know why these are so good? They're made with angel tears.
Angel tears and MSG.
Oh, it's so good. It is. It is. It is. Even people that are she, if you've never had a French fry like that, you're missing out. Because when they're piping hot and they're salted just right, oh, baby.
Yes, sir.
That's America.
America.
The gender madness. So there was a couple. So if you guys haven't seen the lunacy of, I guess Elon got mad, said everybody should cancel Netflix because of this show. And I continue to go and say, first of all, why do you have any of these kind of things for kids? Okay, you don't need the any gender stuff for children.
No,
I mean, you don't. I mean, it's ridiculous. And the show. By the way, the show that he's like cancel Netflix. The show's been out for 3 years. I don't think they make it anymore. But it had to do with, they were a ghost show. They were hunting ghosts, I guess. And I'm sitting there laughing going, okay, well, what's this have to do with hunting ghosts?
It's not the park. It's me. I'm trans, Norma. And everyone at school knows, and everyone at home knows. And being here, it's like a whole new place.
Goodness.
I can just be Barney. And I can choose if and when I tell people. I've never been happier. And that's saying something when I spent today chased by terrifying zombie mascots.
Why?
Yeah.
There's no reason for that.
That has nothing to do.
No. Nothing. Zero to do with anything that like I said, what was the Hillary Swank movie that she played? She played the guy that got killed. I think it was in Montana or Wyoming. I forget what it was called. Some of you guys might read out on the text line. Okay, that was an actual true story based on something. And it wasn't pushing an agenda, by the way. There was nothing about that.
It was based on what really happened.
What really happened. And it wasn't made for children.
Yeah.
This is made for kids.
Yeah,
there's a big issue right there.
That's insidious.
Yeah, it is. There's no reason to be talking about anything. I went my entire life watching Scooby-Doo as a child. Never once knew any of their sexual identities. The only thing I knew was Shaggy was a stoner. That's it. Only thing I knew. That was the only thing. That was it. I thought Thelma and them were kind of hot. I didn't know anything other than that. That's it. I didn't know anything other. I didn't know what Bugs Bunny identified as.
Well, Daphne was hot.
Daphne was hot too. They were both hot.
Thelma?
Yeah. You know what makes Thelma pretty hot now?
What?
People who dress up and go to those Comic-Cons.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're dressed. But I didn't know what their identity was. I didn't know what Fred's identity was. I didn't care.
No, it wasn't even on the radar when we were kids.
There's no need for it. And it's not, and the funny thing is, so I've got friends who are gay. My old producer who retired, gay. One of my best friends in the world, love him. My first producer that I worked with when I was in Palm Springs, when I started doing my radio show a long time ago, still a good friend of mine, gay. He used to say this all the time. I don't get the trans stuff. They feel like they hijacked the LGBT community, right? They feel like they completely hijacked it. And it has nothing to do with the kids. It has all to do with power. It's about getting people to do things and use that power. It became an activist tool because all the gays wanted was marriage equality and to be able to have equality inside of the workplace, to not be fired if they were gay. That's what they wanted. They didn't want all this other stuff.
the vast majority of gay people, and I've got gay people in my family, and I love them dearly, and they are nothing like what you see in the media. They're nothing.
No.
Like what you see at some of these pride parades where they're, running around in assless chaps and things like that, and they don't like it.
No, they don't, because they feel like all that they worked for to try to get equality is, outdone by people who want to make a point and shock. And that's, you can't have that. That doesn't do anything. And the number one thing is stay away from kids. That's it.
Yep.
Stay away from kids. And I was telling my mom the other day, if I was 16 today and I was in school, I'd tell everybody I'm a girl. Why? Because I'm in the girls' locker room. You guys can laugh at me all you want. You call me Chadwina. Now, if you don't mind, the girls' volleyball practice just finished. It's when you're 16, we never get to ask the girls how they feel about this. They force it. They threaten. It's all about keeping you quiet. It's all about a power structure and getting you to bend to their will by saying, yes, a person with a penis can be a woman. And it's not about treating those kids. They're getting taken advantage of. And by the way, we're not only are people going, and my wife follows this guy who was trans for a long time, and now he is gone and is reversing everything. But the hormones, there are things he's never going to be able to do again in his life. And we're finding out that. But one of the things that's been talked about for a long time is kids who are struggling, in particular, some kids who have autism in a major way. That is a big deal. And a lot of these kids are lost. And what was normally something where a kid may be a cutter or they may be bulimic or anorexic and have some depression, now it is this that they push you to. That's why you had that mom at the Davis school board just drop trow in front of everybody into her bikini. She wanted to make everybody feel uncomfortable. She goes, now you know how these young girls feel. Because they did feel uncomfortable. Well, a couple of them did. A couple of the guys are like, hey, how you doing? But this is the insanity we live in, and it's getting pushed, and it is about power structure, getting people to do something they know inherently is against their will, and they know it's not true and real, and forcing them. If you're 23, 24, and you want to go and get rid of the twigs and berries, do all the other stuff, and you're not going to hurt anybody, knock yourself out.
You're an adult.
Do it.
Do whatever you want.
If you're going to push this on kids, this is why Trump, and this is why Democrats, you continue to lose. All right, coming up, we're going to wrap up the program. Cameron's in again today, I believe. So we'll talk not to him because, as I always say, why didn't you come in? He's like, because I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to talk about. So we'll talk about something else when we get back. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997. Wrapping it up on this most amazing Thursday. A lot of people, apparently, Ken, a lot of people say you can go to O'Reilly's and a few other places and drop off your oil.
That's what I thought.
So
I just need to get a good jack. I mean, I've got a good jack. I just don't, I don't have a garage. We live in a townhome, so, our cars are just parked out front, in a parking lot. And I just don't have I guess, I don't know why I would need a garage. I guess I could just jack it up right out there in the parking lot and do it.
Right out there.
But here's the thing. I can't check all the other things that I need checked.
Yeah.
And I really trust my dealership. I love my dealership. I mean, so many times they have actually saved me from spending more money than I needed to. And that's why I trust them.
Yeah. I mean, and that's it. You know what? When you find somebody you trust when it comes to like people, not you and I can, but regular people get haircuts, you'll go back to that person over and over again. Same thing with your car. You find that person that you trust with your car that you know is not screwing you, you'll go back to that person over and over again because of that relationship and that trust.
So I like getting everything else checked.
Yeah.
And taken care of.
The battery. I said, 35 bucks for the battery? You taking my old battery? And you're charging me so you could go strip it down for whatever you're going to do? You're charging me that much money? Never mind, I hold it on myself. We're still charging you? What? Oh, good goodness.
Plus, my dealership has good snacks and coffee.
Yeah, you always need that. The tool places have to have hot dogs, popcorn, and something to drink. And the dealerships always have to have donuts and coffee. That's it. Otherwise, it don't work, man. It don't work. It don't
I mean,
work.
you can even get dark roast at my dealership.
Well, settle down.
And it's free.
You just go there every day and eat and drink?
Stop
Like,
it.
Ken, you got to leave, man. We can't. You're eating us out of. You
know
just
what's-
got to stop.
What's funny is I bet I could do that until eventually one of the sales guys would say, Weaver, stop.
Or buy a new car.
They would recognize that I was doing
Or buy a new car.
Yeah.
Because if you bought a new car, they were like, we'll give you an extra 8 months of free snacks on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Free, come on. Buy that new car. What was it? Did you say Jay Cutler got to jail early?
Yeah, he had a 4-day sentence for a DUI last year, and he apparently got out after serving 2.5 days.
They should have sentenced him to a Sunday behind the Titans O-line.
That's cruel and unusual.
That's cruel and unusual. It's like, sorry. We're getting ready to execute that lady here, huh? We got that coming up.
Yeah, looks like it.
Tennessee.
A woman and I think 3 other inmates.
Three other, yeah, I think it's
scheduled
4.
3
They set their
others.
dates. And they set a date for a guy in 2 weeks in Texas. And Robert Robinson, I think his name is, or Robertson. It was a shaken baby thing, and they sentence him to death. The thing is, after him, all of the data and science changed based on that. And now they want to reopen the case because other people that were sentenced after him, they threw their cases out because it didn't fit what she was really doing. Man, if you're going to execute somebody in a day when we have all the science we have, you better make sure it's right. There is no more reason for oopsie. I mean, they just freed that guy from the yogurt shop killings. They were a big deal in Texas. He was on death row for 29 years because of DNA.
Man.
29. You're not
Can you
getting.
imagine that? You
get
gone.
no time back in life. That's why it's the most precious commodity on earth. You could give him $10 million. You know what? It's not buying back 29 years. It isn't. All right, coming up, Cameron Smith in for Matt. Guess what? I see Friday. We'll do it again tomorrow.